Hey, this is Chapel Roan, and you're listening to 88.3 WMTS Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to LUVOL on Air here on WMTS 88.3 Murfreesboro. I am your host, James, and I am here with my amazing guest.
Hi, my name's Anna Shinholster.
Continue that intro, please. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Already have your name? What's your genre? Where are you from? All that jazz.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's Anna Shinholster. My genre, I usually say, is around indie, pop, sometimes leaning folk. Honestly, depends. I'm from Woodstock, Georgia, and I've been doing professional gigs for over 4 years now, and I'm really happy to be at MTSU. This is my second year.
Awesome. So, you're a musician, obviously. That's why I have you on this show.
Yeah.
How did you get your start making music?
So, I've been singing since kindergarten. I did church choir from kindergarten all the way through high school, basically. And I always knew that I liked to perform. And when I was in 5th grade, I say I wanted to play guitar. Originally, I said to my parents, I want a ukulele. I was like 11. I'm like, I want a ukulele. And they were like, okay, why not a guitar? And I looked at them like they were stupid. And I was like, because the guitar's too big for me. And they looked at me and they were like, you do realize there are child-sized guitars? And I was like, oh, real?
Yeah, it's called the ukulele.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's a ukulele. So I actually started playing guitar in 5th grade. And around the same time, I decided I wanted to start writing songs, and I'll probably be saying more about it later, but Grace Vanderwaal, since she was around my age, she was a big inspiration for me. And I just realized I really liked having that, mode of expression. That kind of a mode of expression, like writing songs, while also playing guitar, was something I really enjoyed. So.
Awesome. Well, you spoke on it a little bit, Grace Vanderwaal.
Mm-hmm.
But, who or what are, your biggest inspirations, musical or otherwise?
Yeah, so, around that time when I was 11, starting out, Grace Vanderwaal was definitely a big one for me, because she's around the same age, and at that time, on my iPad, 'cause I didn't have a phone, I saw her winning America's Got Talent doing her original music, and that made me think, if she can do it, maybe I can too. So she was one of the main reasons I wanted to start writing. So she was a big one. Billie Eilish was and has always been, continues to be, one of my favorite artists as well. She and her brother, just their songwriting is amazing. And I've loved following all of her albums. This new one's insane. And I really, really want to go to her concert. But so she's also a big one. A lot of my beginning inspirations around middle school were things like Billie Eilish, Grace Vanderwaal, Cave Town, because Cave Town also, he has just a lot of acoustic stuff, and his lyrics are just beautiful, and that's something I really like to focus on when I write. I want it to have a good melody, good chorus and stuff, but I really care about the lyrics and what they mean. So he was a big inspiration for writing good lyrics. Now I'm always all over the place for favorite artists and inspirations. Things like Mac DeMarco, Phoebe Bridgers, Remy Wolf was basically all of my summer. And Beeson, she has this song called Best Case Girl, and I feel like that's a really good sound that I really like. So that's a few.
Awesome, yeah. Once again, you make music. I've already said it I think 4 times. But you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 studio singles, 2 live singles, one of which has 3 tracks in it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through your studio singles first.
Okay.
First song you released on Spotify and everywhere you get their music was Lucky. It was originally released in 2021. So what's the story behind it? Whenever you introduce a song live, it usually comes with the story. What's the story behind Lucky?
Yeah, so Lucky was an early teenage love song, and I actually wrote it in late 2020. I was 16, and all of my songs, I get inspiration in different ways, and they all start differently, like in my writing process. And that one was just one where I woke up one morning and I just had the idea in my head. I could hear like some vague chord progression and some vague melody, and I was like, I feel like this could be something really good. So I like got up, and I feel like, I honestly can't remember, but it was probably between like 15 minutes to like 30 that I wrote the whole thing.
Oh, dang.
And then I had a gig that day and I played it. So
the same day you wrote it, you debuted it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I literally almost forgot that. That just came back to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I wrote that. And then I had a show and I was like, let's debut it.
Sick.
So,
I don't know if I would ever have the courage to do that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I had a little music stand up there, and I like typed out my lyrics beforehand and just got it up there, and I was like, I can do it. So yeah, that's how that one came about. And if people look, you can see that there are 2 versions.
Yeah, Lucky was re-released in 2022.
Yes.
I'm guessing you're about to tell us why.
Yeah. So the 2021 version, I'm still like figuring out recording. I'm working with people and stuff. And when I was 16, I didn't know basically anything. I was a garage band girly. I would play around on there sometimes, but I really cared about the song, and I was like, I really want to start putting things out, and I want to start with this. So not knowing who to go to or what to do, but only knowing I want this out, I spent like probably at least a week or 2 on GarageBand on my phone with like a USB Blue Yeti mic, and I recorded it. And my fun fact for it that I love to tell people is not an exaggeration. If you play it, the original Lucky, it takes 6 seconds of silence for the whole song to start. My only explanation is that I was 16 and on my phone. I don't know what happened.
I mean, maybe there was like a count-in that GarageBand left in while you was exporting or something.
Maybe.
Who knows? GarageBand's a great DAW. It's not a professional grade DAW. It's a great DAW, though.
It was a great DAW for the time. So yeah, that was my first version, and I realized the next year, like, I had an opportunity. I'll be saying a lot about Mad Life Stage and Studios and Woodstock.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. They were the reason that they were the people that I worked with to re-record it, because I felt like it deserved a better version, basically.
Awesome. Moving on, also released in 2021, your next single, Same Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Story.
I love talking about this one because it doesn't make a lot of sense when you listen to it lyrically. Like, you get the imagery of like being in a canoe or like being on a boat on a stream, but then you get to the chorus and it's you said it's a different fin, but it's the same fish it's always been. And I actually got to show this to a publisher the other day because he came in for NSAI for a panel. And he was like, this is really cool. I'm so curious what this means. And I got to respond with, I don't know either. Because the inspiration for the song, this was like sophomore year of high school. I had a dream, and I was in a canoe with someone, and we didn't have any paddles. We were just like floating down the stream. And I was telling them about how like a lot of my mom's side of the family has anxiety. And their response was, well, it may be a different fin, but it's the same fish it's always been. And I woke up and I was like, what does that even mean? Literally, what kind of response was that? So I remember I came home, I was supposed to be doing homework, and I was like, I need to get this out of my head because it doesn't make any sense. So that was like the inspiration for Same Fish.
Mm-hmm. And what you mentioned NSAI, we'll get to NSAI a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun when you just, any song, it doesn't have to be a song that you've written, you like look at the lyrics and you're like, what does this mean?
Yeah, because like it doesn't, obviously I came from a place of going, I don't know what this means, but I've thought about a bunch of different things it could mean and stuff. And one of my interpretations, me having to decode my own song, like if I go with the context of me telling the person that like my mom's side of the family has anxiety, and they're like, well, it may be a different fin, but it's the same fish it's always been. It's like, this may be a part of you, but it's not the whole. Mm-hmm. That's a way I could explain it. And then the publisher I was talking to, he said something like how a canoe, like since we didn't have paddles, there wasn't any means of steering like what direction in life you're going or anything like that. But with a fish, like the fins are the modes of steering. So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was about to say, like even now, 3 years after release and probably about 3 years after writing too, you're still finding new reasons. Not reasons, new interpretations of your own song.
Yeah, and I love that. There are a couple I have where it's just like I basically grow with them, and I like figure out different meanings for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you think your next single, released in 2022, All Right, is like that? Or is that one where you have, like, this set story for it?
I wouldn't have like an exactly set story. All Right was kind of just a place in time I was in where sometimes you feel like things are falling apart a little bit, or there are some like situations that you were in that you wish would be a constant. Like you're comfortable in your situation and who you're with, and then those people aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, like friendships end, like relationships end, and it's like, oh, but I really liked that and I wanted to hold on to that. But as you like are removed from the situations, you realize, okay, those weren't meant to last, and that's all right. It's okay. And because like one of the lines is, I chose a house, not a home, but I didn't want to move away. So it's like, I felt like this was the place I was supposed to be, but it wasn't a place that was going to serve me. So it's okay that I had to leave it. So All Right is very peppy, but it is about stuff like that. It's like things come, things go, and that's okay. You just embrace what you have and appreciate what you used to have.
I was about to say, when I went to go see the NSAI people perform at, is it MT Engage Fest?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you, like, the first thing you said about it was, this is a really happy sounding song. Here's this really deep explanation about it.
Yeah, because I almost forgot this one part. Hi, Dad. I always intro it with this. This is based off something my dad always says, because it is. He always tells me, things don't always go as you planned, but they always turn out better than you could have hoped.
Mm-hmm.
So even beyond like the way deep explanation I just gave it, if you have moments, just minor inconveniences, or like you felt like you were going one way and you're like, I really want this thing. I want this thing to happen so I can progress in like this path I feel like I'm supposed to go down, and it doesn't work out. You're going to be really confused because that's all you know. And you have to understand, it's like, you may not understand right now what is going to happen, what's on the other side, but it always works out the way it's supposed to. Everything happens for a reason. That's kind of something I believe.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And so what was the reason behind...
Perfect.
That was a great segue.
Uh-huh.
Behind one of your two live singles, we'll get to your other one in a bit,
Mhm.
Simple I Always Will.
Yeah. So Simple, that was something that I wrote at the end of my senior year of high school. So when I went into my senior year, since I have songwriter brain, literally when I started senior year, I was like, okay, I have to write something about this whole experience, about graduation. But I went through so many drafts and I could not find something that was sitting right with me. I didn't feel like anything was good enough. I ended up writing 2 songs at the end of the year. And one was called Meant for Something, and that was more about the broad, like, we're all going down our own paths and they're all going to be very good for each of us, even if we're not in the same place. Like locationally anymore. Because, like, all my friends, we were all in Georgia, and now we're all across. But then the other one, I realized I think I was having so much trouble because there's so many different things I could write about, and that's why I ended up writing 2. So I had the Meant for Something one, and then Simple, I wrote specifically for my high school friend group, because I ended up having a really good, solid group in junior and senior year, and they were the reason that I really had a good high school experience. So I wanted to write something for them, just kind of thanking them for all the little simple things that we do. And that's why the cover is these 2 people holding, I say 2 people, it's 2 of them, on New Year's holding sparklers.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, because I talk about fireworks blow, smiling in the glow of the spark. So we try to get together for New Year's. We did this past year as well, or like at the beginning of this year. Yeah, there are just so many different things we've gotten to do together, and I just really appreciate all the time we had and have when I see them.
Yeah. I'm going to go off script a bit and just ask you about all the covers that you have up.
Yeah.
The remastered version of Lucky is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of shamrocks.
Mm-hmm.
All Right is you in a field. Is it just you in a field, or is there another deeper meaning there?
I didn't have a deeper meaning for that one. That one, I was on the side of the road, probably around Ella J. I may be wrong. If anyone in Georgia knows Bert's Pumpkin Farm, that was a day that we were going to Bert's Pumpkin Farm for fall, and there were just so many wildflowers growing on the side of the road. So before the cops were like, what are all these people in their cars doing? Why are they parked on the side of like the interstate? I got to like take a little photo shoot, and I've always visualized All Right with like colorful flowers and things like that. That's the vibe it gives me. Yeah.
And I think that photo turned out all right. So the same fish cover. It's a river.
Yep.
Yep. Fish, river.
Yeah.
It connects to the metaphor.
Yeah, that was a special place for me that I knew. I think it's Rope Mill Park, doxing myself. Rope Mill Park in Georgia.
You said you live in you were born in Woodstock. So.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah.
know. Everyone knows.
So Anna Shinholster's full address is, be sure to write this down. I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, it's Rope Mill Park in, I don't want to say Woodstock. I think it is still Woodstock area. But I just felt like that was a good place because in my mind, in the dream, I could see the creek, I could see everything. And honestly, when I was awake and conscious and I was thinking about it, that was the place that resembled it closest to me, like where I was with this person on the stream going down. So I felt like that was a pretty accurate depiction of what I was literally seeing in the dream.
And finally, the original version of Lucky is... Hold on 1 second. It looks like some sort of wireframe thing.
Yeah, so someone made for me, they made these 2 guitar string flowers.
Oh,
So that's what those are.
that's
and
really neat.
what's really funny about that cover is I was trying to figure out what to do for the cover last second, and I knew I wanted to use those. And I think it was 1 a.m. or something. And I stuck a piece of black cardstock on my shelf, put the vase with those little flowers in front of it, and took a picture with my flash on my iPhone at a certain angle. And I was like, good, we got it. And I put the filter over it.
I fully thought it was an outside photo.
Really?
Yeah, because it looks like...
Like
I
at
guess
night?
It's because of... Yeah, I was about to say,
Huh.
it looks like a old, maybe 2009... your mom's camera in the backyard taking a photo of these
That's cool.
wireframe things that she has.
I like that. I guess since I made it and I've just looked at it so much and I know where it came from, I just didn't see that. But
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I mean, when I first saw it, I thought it was like a long exposure shot of
Really?
people waving around glow sticks or something. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, no, those are guitar strings put into shaped into a flower. I do not know how to do that, but
Awesome.
they're so cool.
My grandpa does, or my papa does.
Really?
Yeah. Not guitar strings, but he likes doing hi, Papa. I think you're listening. If you're not, hi, Nana. I know you're listening. They're like wire just folded into shapes of tigers and stuff. Anyway, interview. Gone to the
That's
tangent.
cool though. Mhm.
Songwriting process and
Yeah.
recording process. Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Okay.
So songwriting and recording, touched on it a bit with all your songs. But what does it look like to you? How does it differ from song to song, or how does it stay the same from song to song?
Yeah, so I feel like it does differ for me from song to song, but most of the time, it's usually because most of the time I'm writing from my own emotions and experiences, what's going on with me at the moment. Sometimes it's probably most of the time it's therapeutic. I'm I need to write about this. I need to figure out what I'm feeling and voice it, put it into words. So usually I start with chords because if I'm feeling a certain way, in my head I can kind of hear what that mood is. That's the best I can explain it. And I'll be I know how I'm feeling. I go around, capo on my guitar, figure out some chords, and then I find something that feels right, that matches what's going on. And once I have that, I'm pretty good at hearing melodies once there's a chord progression. So honestly, bad answer, it's just vibes. It's just vibes, man. No, but most of the time I start with a chord progression, and then I just start hearing melodies and figuring those out. And once I have those, that's when I usually already know what I want to say. I just figure out how to say it.
Yeah.
I already have the feeling, I already know what's going on, I just need to put it into words. So it's usually feeling a certain way, chords are written, hear the melody over it, and then I figure out how to voice it.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got does that stay consistent every time, or is there any notable deviations from that you can think of?
I don't know. I think most of the time that's how it goes. There's some times where I may have a lyric idea or two and I put them in my notes. That is part of the reason my phone has absolutely no storage and is starting to not function. Yeah, it's bad. 'Cause my notes app is just full from 2019. And there are times, I think if you want to count it in part of the writing process, this is zooming out the scope a lot. I feel and I'm almost about to forget what I'm going to say. Zooming out, when it comes to writing, the writing process and just making songs in general, the process is much more than just like sitting down, writing the chords, writing the lyrics, and then singing it. Because before all of that, to be a musician, period, I'm like zooming out so much because this is just fun stuff to talk about. Zooming out so much. In order to be an artist or just a songwriter, you have to learn the instrument, learn how to write. Like, part of my notes that are just filled out are just a bunch of ramblings. There's some that's just straight up like poetry, and sometimes those don't always go into songs, but that doesn't mean they weren't part of making the song. Because you have to start voicing out what you're thinking, and sometimes that takes many, many, many rounds, and figuring out what you want to say. Kind of like when I was talking about the song that I wanted to do for high school. I wrote so many versions of one song, because I think that's actually a good example when it comes to changing up the process. I had an idea at first to name the song Last Firsts, because in senior year, like, you have your last first day of school and stuff like that, and it's like we're experiencing all these last firsts. So that's what was in my head forever. So I tried to write with that, and I wrote so many different versions incorporating the words last first, and I ultimately didn't use those, but everything I did contributed to what ended up being the end result.
Yeah.
So, like, writing process, it can take a lot of different routes, like just getting your thoughts out, even if they aren't contributing to the actual lyrics at the end verbatim. It takes a lot of thought and a lot of time and a lot of just like, I just thought of something else too. I love talking about this stuff. I don't know how much of it's making sense at the moment.
Go right ahead. This is exactly what this kind of thing is for.
Yeah. Especially if you're writing from your own perspective, like I do most of the time. Just living is part of the writing experience, which sounds to some people corny, but it literally is.
I mean, yeah, write what you know, right?
Yeah. And like, what's really unfortunate is if you go through something, as a songwriter, part of me, most of me is like, this is horrible. Oh my gosh, I really hate that this happened. And then there's the other very real part of me that goes, yes, I know it's so bad, but it's gonna make a really good song. Like,
I have felt that exact same way.
Yes, like
it's such an odd feeling. It's really funny, and mostly in hindsight, it's really funny. But even in the moment, you can see like, yeah, it's funny that I'm feeling bad, but also I know it's really good later.
Yes, like it's kind of a moment of like comfort for yourself. You're like, wow, this really hurts, and I'm going through something. But hey, it's not for nothing. I'm gonna get some good content.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like it doesn't even have to be something dramatic that's happening in your life. Just being a person and going through your day, interacting with other people, understanding yourself, and just growing up. Like, just experiencing life is like stuff that's going to teach you about how to write and just help you figure out who you are and what you want to voice in your songs. So there's so many different components to writing.
Awesome. I don't have a good segue for this.
That's fair. I said a lot.
Ryan King.
Yes.
If, Harry, a fellow DJ Harry is in the room, and he started booing Ryan King.
Let's pretend there wasn't a thumbs down.
Oh, you just said it on air that there is a thumbs down, and that's recorded, so there was. Ryan King is WMTS's production director.
Yeah.
And also is the drummer for hit local band The Fields.
Yes.
In fact, you have a couple surprising connections to WMTS.
I do.
Yeah, you do. We'll get to your single that's coming out soon in a bit.
Yeah.
But that single, Paper Straws, was recorded in a local place called In the Garage Studio.
Yes.
Which is owned and operated by Sterling Martin, who is our tech director and a fellow DJ. He, Ryan, and another Fetal, Levi, and soon Harry, all run their own show on here, Fetal's Power Hour. Promotion for them done, because I hate them. Just kidding.
No.
You and Ryan have collabed.
Yeah.
With the song "Slow Down." So what was the writing and recording process for that like?
Yeah, so that was really fun because that was last year, so it was my first year here, and what really cracked me up was with all these people I feel like everybody knows everybody here, and it's really funny.
Yeah. Especially in like the audio songwriting.
Oh
world.
yeah. If you're in RIM, you've at least like perceived the person someone's talking about if you haven't met them yet.
I know everyone listening right now.
Literally.
Hi, Kevin.
Do you know my grandpa? I don't know if he's listening, but you don't know my parents.
Is he in the RIM program? If he is, then I do. If he's not, I don't.
He's quick. Maybe I just don't see him in the halls. We never know.
Oh, that's that mysterious red blur I saw walking past Studio B the other day. Okay, that makes so much sense.
No.
Speaking of red blurs, slow down.
Slow down. That was good segue. No, Ryan King and I, it was really funny. We actually had commercial musicianship together first semester, but we never really like talked because I was just like locked in and I wasn't really like paying attention to like yapping because it was commercial musicianship. I was like, I hadn't taken theory before, so that was really my moment to focus. But I knew he was in there, and then we actually got to like meet and introduce and whatever like the next semester, and that may be a complete lie. It may have also been the same semester, but point being, we were in the same class, and he ended up reaching out to me and being like, hey, I really like your voice. I was wondering if you wanted to sing on my song Slow Down. And it was already fully written, so he knew where he wanted me to sing a verse, and then I really like doing harmonies and stuff and ad-libs, so we decided I could do some of that too. And once I heard it, I really liked it because it's a style that I really like. It's got the acoustic guitar, it's kind of folksy, it was really fun. So I was like, yes, I want to be a part of this. And what's really fun about the recording process for that...
Oh, yeah, random question out of nowhere. Where did you happen to record this song?
It may or may not have been literally right here where I'm sitting right now.
In the WMTS station?
Yes.
No way. I did not know that.
No, you just wild guess. My portion of Slow Down was recorded here in this in the radio station, and because Ryan, he was like, hey, I work at the radio station, I can just set my stuff up here and you can come record. And I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
we have great acoustics in this room.
yeah, but I came in here and we recorded, and what was really surprising was it only took like an hour to get my stuff done, like all of it. Being, what was it? I did the second verse, and then I figured out harmonies, and then there were some parts where we're really good at collaborating on stuff like that, because I figured that out with like recording my song as well. We both really like harmonies, so sometimes we have to stop each other from making more. But I was good at helping kind of fill out the space, adding harmonies, and there were some parts where he's like, I feel like it's a little like too empty here. There needs to be something that's gonna piece together like this last portion and this one, because there wasn't any singing going on at the moment. So like if you're like the oohs and stuff that are kind of filling up empty space, those are me. But yeah, it was really fun, like kind of collaborating and being creative and figuring out, ooh, what if we added this here to kind of make it a little more dynamic, a little more fun. And that all happened in the radio station, and somehow in only about an hour. So
awesome.
It was really fun.
I'm living on holy ground right now. We got a break coming up, which after that we'll talk a bit about more co-writing, live performance, and your upcoming single, Paper Straws. Before the break, here is the last, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, give or take, of a song that you suggested be on here, Friends by Aubrey Bug. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey! It's a yummy chord.
I know. No, so this next one is something I wrote for my grandpa's 80th birthday. And I'll give it a little context beforehand because it can be kind of confusing. So my grandpa likes to pick me up from school sometimes, and of course he loves me as a granddaughter, but he also likes fast food. So it's his really good excuse to go get some. And when we're pulling out of my school and we're going down the road, he says left or right. Turning left means Chick-fil-A, turning right means McDonald's. And he also tried to teach me math in first grade. I was doing my homework at their house, and we were doing greater and less than homework, and I don't know what he learned, but it was something different. So I did all of my homework wrong, and my grandpa became a celebrity at my school when I did a very good first grade impression of him. Really love him, and this was his 80th birthday present. It's called Half as Cool, because I hope one day I can be half as cool as him.
So what was the story of Half as Cool, Anna? No, we already got that from past you. This is the different angles live at Mad Life from 2022. It was also recorded in 2022, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah, so Mad Life is a venue in Woodstock, Georgia, your hometown.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there a little bit first. First, I just want to go through the stories of the other two songs on here, How It Goes and Butterflies. So how is How It Goes written?
Okay, so How It Goes was kind of like all right, where it was just in the moment. It was just a phase of life where things were going on. And yeah, that was like summer of 2021. And I was a teenager. I was 16. And sometimes during the summer, if you have too much time on your hands, you don't know what to think about. So then you start thinking about thinking.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
in the summer, I'll just be like randomly sad. And I'm like, I don't know why. But I was just kind of talking about how sometimes people go, and it kind of is like similar to All Right, but just in the more vulnerable, mellow sense, I guess, and kind of like a chiller version. You can't like keep everybody in your life, or like, because I talk about my middle school friends in it, how sometimes you get to like stay with some of them. And hi Gia, if she listens, hi.
Hello.
Love you. She literally came to campus this past semester and met like 27 people in one
Oh,
day.
nice.
But that's its own thing. Yeah, just sometimes you have to learn to like move on. It's kind of about growing up. That's more so what How It Goes is about. And I just it was kind of like a brain dump. I'm like, all these things are happening. These people aren't here anymore, and that's okay. One of the things I brain dumped about, though, was something about my family's car breaking down when I drove it, which was very true. Start of the story, never get a Hyundai Sonata. I had just started like fully driving.
I don't sue us. I don't think they legally can.
Can I say that?
I think you can. It's not.
It's my personal opinion.
It's also not against any of the rules that I give you that to sign off on.
That's real. Never get undisclosed black car. So I had just started driving on my own more, and this was one of the first times I took that car on my own, and it was to go on a secret mission to pick up these shoes for my dad for Father's Day. And we told him I was like going to get groceries or something. So I went to Kroger. Why did I say Kroger? Groceries. I went to Kohl's and I got the shoes. That was fine. And I was like,
shoes for Kroger.
Yeah, I love my shoes from Kroger.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, hey, while I'm here, I love Five Below. It's right there. I want to get some chocolate. And I got some chocolate, and then I got in the car. Everything was fine. I'm driving home, and I was barely gone from Kohl's. I was getting to the first light from there, and the car just completely shuts down.
Oh.
Like, everything turns off. The brake doesn't want to work. The gas doesn't want to work. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, no.
So, in my brain, I'm like, okay, I'm still rolling a little bit. Maybe I can get into this turn lane, get across the intersection. There was a big parking lot right there. So I started to do that. It just fully stopped moving in the turn lane. So I just sat there in 90-degree heat with my hazards on. And it was not a fun time. And we didn't have our other car at the moment. So I was like recording myself, because at first I was like, this would... bad situations. I'm like, this would be a good TikTok, which I have since archived. And it ends with me like going straight from like tears rolling down my face to going, oh, there's my dad. Okay, bye guys. Because I saw him run across the intersection, because like our neighbor brought him. So he and the cops pushed the car while I steered, and we got it fixed, quote unquote. It eventually was not fixed anymore, off and on. Anyways, so I was like, in the song I say I went for a drive. The car broke down. Took 2 more hours to get back to town. All the chocolate I bought melted in the back seat.
Oh, man.
I'll freeze it at home. You'll still love me. Because I got it for myself and someone else. And I was like... And I knew they'd be fine with it, but it was just kind of like a fun little line. I'm like, I care and I want to make this like a fun thing for you, and I hate that it got ruined. So honestly, it's kind of hard to explain this song, because it was basically just, oh well, things happen. That's kind of what it's talking about. Like, the car breaks down. Oh, and then my chocolate melts. Oh, and then these people that I knew, they aren't around anymore. And sometimes things just feel weird and you don't know why. And that's okay. Because in the bridge, I kind of talk about how I said, the fake plants I have will never die. I cannot keep a plant to save my life. I have so many fake succulents. So I'm kind of time out. These are the things I can hold on to, and I'm more so time out. I can hold on to myself. Because I end with, I'll always know my own name. So even though you can't really predict what's going to happen with anything else in your life, you know yourself. And that's just how life goes. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's how it goes.
Next song, Butterflies.
Yeah. So butterflies, sometimes I wear these ginormous, really flashy 3 butterfly silver earrings on stage, and they're always a great segue for the song. But I really like butterflies because to me they represent things like transformation, the soul, and people who've passed away. So I had a specific instance in mind that I was writing about. And because at least for me, I feel like that's a symbol that I look for a lot when like you're thinking of somebody that's gone or anything like that. Or like also I'm Christian, so it's like if I'm talking about like sometimes I'm like, can I see a sunset if everything's all good? I'm like, which I know you can't really do, but sometimes you just look for things and you look for signs that everything's okay.
Yeah.
And this was, just about like someone that's not here, and you can see them in your day-to-day. They're still here, just in different ways. And one of the ways for a lot of people and for me is butterflies. So I talked about that, and I really like that song because I really like writing stuff that, even if it stems from something that personally I went through, other people can resonate with it. I love when they can do that. Because when I play this one, sometimes people will come up and tell me. They're like, I usually look for ladybugs, or like, I had this person who's gone. And like, one time someone came up to me and they told me, they were like, I lost someone and I have a butterfly tattoo, and my whole family has a butterfly tattoo for him. And that's stuff that like, I didn't know when I wrote it. And it's amazing that like stuff that I'm writing from my own experience can resonate with people like that.
Yeah.
So I love when people can connect with that one. But that's what butterflies is.
You can add 2 more to that list, because I know 2 separate people who have told me like they heavily associate butterflies with someone who's passed in their life. And so it is really like, butterfly is like a really good symbol for like anything. Yeah. It's such and they're, besides being like awesome insects, they're like these peaceful little creatures. Yeah. That just like can't apply to a lot of things in your life, including like change, the passing of a loved one, all that jazz. Yeah. No, so, they're a very good symbol for a lot of different things. Oh, absolutely. So this live single, Different Angles, was released in 2022. But it was not your first time playing at Mad Life. Far from it. The oldest video on your YouTube channel in 2018 is you playing at Mad Life. So how did you get into playing live? Yeah, so I started playing live probably when I was about 12, 13, because I'm just down the street from Mad Life Stage and Studios, and they have seen me grow up from 12, 13 all the way to now. I still go back when I can. I started there doing open mics because I had stage fright, massive, and I will get to more of that later, but I knew the only way out was through. And my parents also, they had heard of it, and they were like, hey, let's go check this place out. And it was a really cool environment, and I started doing open mics there because I really did enjoy performing, and that was like a really good place to do it because everybody there, it feels like a family every time you go. Because now I like know a lot of people that go there, and all the artists were all very supportive of each other, so it was a really welcoming environment to be in, especially starting out performing. So I started doing a lot of open mics there. Then I started doing some at some other venues in Georgia, and I had someone reach out to me on Facebook, and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about gigging? And I was like, what? I've never thought about that. And because I just didn't even think about the fact that it was an option. So I started playing. Yeah. I started doing gigs probably when I was like 15/16, more around 16. And I've just been doing them ever since. I really enjoy gigging and connecting with people. And just more and more opportunities open up the more you put yourself into the situations of performing. So gigging is just a really, really fun thing for me. And I'll be shouting out people later more, but I
I kind of missed a part. When I did the open mics at Mad Life, they also were doing these things called undiscovered artist competitions. And those sounded a little daunting, but I knew that they were really good opportunities. So I think I did those 2 times, and now they have turned them into undiscovered artist showcases. So I've done some of those as well. And Greg Shaddix, shout out Greg, hi. He works at Mad Life, and he was the MC for the open mics. And he also runs the undiscovered artist stuff. So he's seen me from 12, 13 to now, and he's always been supportive. So he was definitely a big inspiration and gave me a lot of courage to keep going and performing. And yeah, I've been doing professional gigs and songwriters festivals, and I've played with some of my friends that are in bands. I've been doing professional gigs and stuff like that for over 4 years now, or about 4 years.
Awesome. So, one second, gotta get my notes in order. On your website, well, first of all, we go to MTSU,
Yes.
famously a dry campus.
Yeah.
You can't go like 5 seconds without seeing a sign saying that we're a dry campus.
Okay.
Unrelated note, on your website, you have a couple glowing reviews from breweries. So what's up with that, huh? No, but really.
Almost every venue you go to is going to serve alcohol.
That's very true. Yeah.
I've been playing at a lot of like truckin' taps and like things like that. And also Georgia, just in the North Georgia, has a lot of beautiful wineries. So yeah, that's a lot of places you're playing, especially if you're in Georgia. I've played a lot of breweries and wineries, and it's really funny doing that at like 16 up until now too. I'm going to be playing my 21st at a winery next year called Chateau Mike Tree, and they are so cool, and that's going to be really fun.
And will you be drinking on your 21st?
I may have a glass in celebration, yeah.
All right, fair enough. And so with all these positive reviews, what do you think makes you stand out as a live performer?
When I perform, I really try to connect with the audience. And I also understand that, like, every gig is different. Every crowd is different. And throughout doing stuff like this for as long as I have now, I understand that, like, not every crowd is going to be the same. It's okay if they're not all clapping after every single song. It's okay if they're, like, very loud. It's okay if they're all very quiet. A lot of, like, restaurant things I'll go into, I have to remember, like, especially, like, in the earlier days, I'm like, I'm going to this gig. These people are here to eat.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know I'm coming.
They're not going to put down their spaghetti to go, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I was never in a mindset where I'm like, why aren't they clapping for me? It was something I grew to, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's so valid. And that doesn't mean they're not enjoying it. Sometimes I look, if there's just one person tapping their foot, I'm like, oh, okay, I won. But I really like being able to connect, kind of like how I was talking about butterflies. If my stuff can mean something to people, that's something that I really care about. And it's really fun playing at, like, family kind of places. Because, like, yeah, it's a lot of wineries and breweries, but a lot of those, too, are also, like, family-oriented places. And that means there are a lot of kids around, and it's really fun when they, like, run up to the stage and just, like, stand there. There was one time this one little girl, because I was playing on this stage that was kind of like an open shed at Skogie's on Lake Lanier, and she came up to the shed, and she got up there. I can't remember if I was like, oh, it's okay first, or if I said that afterwards, but I was like, I don't care. She got up there, and I let her sing Jolene.
Aww.
She was probably like 3, 4, and it was beautiful. I could not have done better.
Collaboration.
Oh yeah, that was her first collab for her long career. But it's just so much fun being able to, like, have those kids have that kind of fun experience that some of them will remember if they're old enough.
You're already inspiring the youths.
Literally, I love inspiring the youths, jokes aside.
Skibbity Toilet is your fault. That's why people say, oh no, you have
there
an
was
actual
one
story
time,
about it.
no, I've had, like, I feel like once I was asked to play Baby Shark, I did not. But one other time I was asked to play Old Town Road by this, like, 12-year-old boy, and I did. Of course, why not?
The entire thing through?
Yeah.
Dang, all right.
And honestly, it was kind of fun. I kind of forgot I did that.
Did you already know it, or did you have to, like, learn it on the spot?
I just looked it up. That's something, that's a good point. Thank you. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of learning things on the spot at gigs, because, like, a lot of my stuff can be more mellow. So, and, like, that's fine, but obviously, like, I was talking about, every crowd is different. So I really like to tailor, you're really helping me with, like, answering these as well as I can. Another thing about me standing out as a performer, I really try to tailor my set to the crowd, like in real time. I have a list on my phone of like all the covers I know and then all of my originals, and I have like the little check thing on. So I'll check like, oh, this is what I think would be good, and if I like decide something else, I'll just choose a different song, and I'll have people come up to me and be like, hey, can you play this? And I'm like, oh, who's it by? And I'll go on my phone, I'll listen to a few seconds of it because I'm not going to make them sit in silence for like 4 minutes. And then I go look up the chords, and if I can do it, I'll do it. I give the little disclaimer that it's going to have some improv, but usually I can get like pretty close.
Awesome.
Because if I listen to a verse and a chorus, I have the general idea. And then if I really like, I'm like, oh, that was actually really cool. I really like that song. I'll add it to my list, and that's how I grow my song list for performing.
That's really interesting.
Like, I'll add things I'm already thinking about and that I like, but that also adds to it. Yeah, so I like being able to connect with people. Being able to play things on the spot is really fun. Playing Old Town Road, connecting with little kids.
Every show you do now, don't you?
Oh yeah, you gotta come and hear me play. I've literally only played Old Town Road once.
You should keep doing it.
Yeah.
Is it even a crowd pleaser at this point? It's been years.
I don't know who was pleased about hearing that song except for that little kid.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think anyone was really complaining. So yeah, I just really like connecting with people, playing things on the spot, and yeah, I really like when my songs can mean something to the audience.
Now, I got a whole section about co-writing here.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not even going to lie to listeners. Surprisingly, 10 minutes away, the last 2 times I've had to like really pad for time. Not this time, which is great. So just really quick, let's say top 3 advice for fellow musicians who also want to perform live. Quick rapid fire.
Yeah. If you're nervous, like I was saying earlier, the only way out is through. If you want to perform but you're terrified, you're gonna have to do it, because you're gonna have voice cracks, you're gonna have quiet audiences, you're gonna have times where you feel like you're not good, but you just have to do it. And you cannot be scared of those things, because the more you do it, even if you encounter those things, you're going to get over them and realize they're not as bad as you think. So that's definitely one of them. And then
number 1, Nike Just Do It. Number 2, go.
Number 1, Nike Just Do It. And then also always play like you're playing to like the biggest people in the world, or like 1,000 people, even if it's like 4, because you never know who's in the crowd, who's gonna give you an opportunity, who's just gonna really like your stuff. You want to give you the best version of yourself, especially as an artist, to who you're playing for. It doesn't matter the size of the crowd. Even if you're having a down day, that doesn't matter. You have to like put your best foot forward, even if you don't really feel like it. So that's definitely number 2.
Number 2, delusional. That's a joke.
Delusional.
That's a joke.
Just do it. Number 2, just do it. And then also, ultimately, just have fun. Like, it's really, especially if you're doing your own original stuff, nobody, like, I'm not going to say nobody, but like, if you're playing original thing, not everybody in the crowd knows your song. If you mess something up, don't beat yourself up about it, because they probably don't know. And especially if you mess up, don't stop, don't apologize, don't act like you did something. Just keep going. They're not going to know. You just have to, like, if you do something, you just own it and move on, because then they're not going to remember, oh my gosh, did you hear how bad that sounded? Or like, did you hear that voice crack? Or like, did you hear the fact that like they just stopped and didn't know what they were doing? They're going to remember, did you hear, oh yeah, they might have did something weird for a second, but did you hear how they kept going and how they like finished it?
And they're going to remember it's just a fun show.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, wow, they were really good, and they like pushed through, and they actually like, they completed the song, and they just acted like they just owned it, and they did a great job. So
number 3, delusional.
Literally.
That's a joke.
No,
well,
just take it all in
yeah.
stride, and it helps you deal with those things in the future, and then they happen less and less usually. So, yeah, just don't be afraid. Even though you're afraid, just deal with being afraid, and it'll become easier.
Awesome. So, co-writing, collaborating, and by extension, NSAI. You have been known to collaborate with artists such as Truman Vincent, who was on here 3 weeks ago. Nat Shunk, I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
All right. Carter Elliott, Josie James, who was also on here last week, I know that for sure, and Ryan King, which we mentioned earlier. 3 of the other Feetles have joined him, but Ryan is not here currently because he's a fake fan.
He's here in spirit.
He's He's invisible. But what makes collaboration appealing to you?
It definitely helps me to like step outside of my own box as a songwriter, because like how I was saying, I usually write from my own experiences. I have my own kind of little process that ends up happening, And then I kind of fall into these places where I don't really think about certain ways to make a song dynamic and stuff, like just some things I wouldn't think about on my own, like, hey, what if we changed it to this chord here, or like what if we fully changed the rhythm for a second, what if we like added some of this. There are some things that I just don't think about on my own when I'm writing, that when I'm with someone else, it kind of teaches me how to be a better solo songwriter, and just like being able to collaborate with someone else, it just kind of opens up your brain in like the songwriting process, and you learn a lot from it. Yeah.
You were kind of saying earlier, you added harmonies like with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the one who was like, let's fill these spaces with big oohs and ahs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so one way people on campus can find people to co-write with is through NSAI, or the Nashville Songwriters Association International.
Yes.
So how did you get involved with NSAI to the point that you are now the president?
So I heard about NSAI last year at one of the org fairs in Bragg, and I really liked the idea. I was part of something called Tri-M Music Honor Society at my high school, and it was not the same, but it was kind of similar about like getting people to perform and like collaborate. And I liked how this organization specifically focuses on songwriters, collaboration with songwriters, and like protecting people's music, like because they're also very big about like copyright and like making sure that you own like what you own and all of that. And I really like that just their main thing was like celebrating music, educating people about songwriting, and just like embracing and like promoting collaboration. So I really wanted to be a part of that. I really enjoyed it last year, and I got to co-write with a lot of people and meet a lot. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and I was given the opportunity to be president this year, and I'm really excited to like, we moved it to Mondays. It's every Monday now that we're meeting. I want it to be like a big sense of community. Everybody knows each other. So I'm really excited to be like part of facilitating like songwriting and collaboration, especially on campus.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Real quick, we only have 5 minutes left. This is a really important question.
Yes.
Sherman Benson, he's the treasurer. What does he do?
Money.
I asked him, and he said he doesn't know what he does. 'Cause, like, I don't think NSA has any dues or anything.
We all kind of equally pull weight. So like,
okay.
like, because it's me, Nat, and Truman, we all have our group chat, and if we need someone to help us out, it's like, hey, we need to make this thing. I don't have time. Can you do it? Like, we all just kind of equally like decide what we're doing in the next meetings. We plan stuff. We like send out our emails.
Mm-hmm.
We like come up with ideas of how to make it more like collaborative and more of a community feel. I'm thinking about maybe adding like an NSAI Discord, but we don't know yet. But yeah, we all just kind of equally collaborate on ideas and things like that.
Awesome. Now we have about, let's see, yeah,
4
minutes left. So unfortunately, I don't have as much time to talk with you in depth about Paper Straws.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the Spark Notes version of the story behind it?
So basically, you know how you play that game with like a flower where you pull off the petal? It's like, loves me not.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Gia, shout out number 2, she showed me this game that she does with like a straw wrapper, and you like put it into where you're gonna like make it a knot, and you pull it. And if the knot comes out on both sides, the person is thinking of you. And then if you pulled it and the knot stays in on one of the sides, the person is not thinking of you. Haha, pun. And we did this a lot with no person in mind, so it was really funny. We'd be like, oh, look, there's no knot, but
Dude,
we're not
no
thinking
one's
about anybody.
Thinking about me.
We're like, oh, let's go.
It's epic. I can
Yeah.
make a Greek myth reference, but I forgot that guy's name. The guy
Yeah.
who killed the
So,
Cyclops. Anyway, continue.
no, you're good. So I wrote about just kind of that idea in that game, and it's basically like just when you're looking for somebody. And I know for some people they'll think it's like literal paper straws, but it's like pulling the wrappers, and it's like just kind of if you're looking for someone in life, and it's like, oh, I'm pulling paper straws. So that's the very, very small Spark Notes version.
Sick. And I'm sure once you start, have you played that song live yet?
Yes.
Oh,
I've
awesome.
played it a few times live. It has a lot of finger picking, and there may or may not be cello and violin on the recording.
Yes. Real quickly, the story behind how that came together in the studio, the cello. Would you like to tell the story about the cello and the violin?
Yes, I'm like speed running this because I know we want to talk a lot.
Just go.
Okay, so Ryan and I were recording, and we were layering a lot of my vocals. There's a lot
in the garage, Murfreesboro.
Yes, in the garage, Murfreesboro, which is literally, I'm gonna dox myself. It's right next to my house, which is really funny, and it's really convenient. That's a really funny story. But I really like layering vocals and stuff, and we ended up we realized what we were recording of my vocals was basically emulating strings. And Ryan was like, it would be really cool if we could have like cello or violin on this. And I was like, Josie plays violin and Caroline Bowling plays cello. And I called both of them, and it was such a miracle moment because they're both very busy people, and they just happened to be free and got there in like 20 minutes. And we stayed for like 4 extra hours or something. Thank you, Sterling, for letting us just be there for that long. And we recorded like basically a full orchestra sound with them. Yeah.
I got like a sneak preview of it. It sounds really good. We got to move on. Long-term plans for songwriting career or any kind of career?
Definitely want to keep writing my own stuff, and I want to start releasing more of my music and recording and releasing a lot more of my stuff. And I'm really liking doing a lot more collaboration, and I want to put some of that stuff out. And ultimately, like farther down, I definitely want to like actually tour and stuff, because I'm booking things on my own. I would love to tour and just have like bigger artist things to do. And yeah, those are my big things.
Awesome. We'll get through these ending questions real quick. Any upcoming shows you want to promote?
Okay, so a lot of these are all for my Georgia people, because that's October's just a Georgia month right now. Friday, October 18th, I'm playing the Openers Writers Round at 6 to 8 p.m. at the Cohutta Songwriters Festival. Friday, October 25th, I'm playing at McCrae's Tavern in Lawrenceville from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m., so come party. November 30th, Friday, I'm playing Rue Vineyards 2 to 5 p.m. And then Saturday, January 11th, I'm playing a ticketed show at Whimsical Cafe at 7 p.m.
Awesome. Anything you want to say to listeners?
I feel like I have 2 seconds. Thank you so much to everybody who listens to me, who's supported me, like come to my shows. Anyone who listens, I really appreciate that my music means something to you and that you feel like I'm someone worth listening to and supporting. I really appreciate it.
Anyone want to shout out?
Okay. My parents, hi Mom and Dad, thank you so much for listening. My grandpa, love you so much. He's always been so supportive of me and my music. So have my parents. They've just always been on board and helping me at shows and all of that. Greg Shaddix at Mad Life for being a music mentor for me. Oh, really quick, Mark Miller. He's also a big inspiration, like great help for me. He's a great mentor. He did like one of my favorite shows this summer that I played. He played at Eddie's Attic. Which John Mayer, Justin Bieber played there and stuff. He had me open for him and his band and also play a song with him. So,
awesome.
Mark, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Kurt Wheeler is also a big music mentor for me. And then Don Lee's Music is my sponsor. Don Lee's Music in Canton, Georgia. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And where can people find you?
My Instagram is Anna Shinholster, ANNA. I tell people Shinholster is spelled like your shin and a gun holster. My Spotify is the same name, and my website is also the same name, annashinholster.com.
Awesome. I got to plug myself now really quickly. Okay, you are currently listening to LUVOL on air on WMTS 88.3 Murfreesboro. Yay! You can find me here Thursdays 5 through 6 p.m. My Instagram is, what is it? LUVOL_music on Instagram. I don't have a Spotify, but I do have a YouTube that you can check me out at if you want. It's just LUVOL. It's linked in the bio on my Instagram if you want to check that out. LUVOL is spelled L-U-V-O-L. Got all that down? Cool. Okay, bye. Yara Asmar, thanks for coming. Cool.
Bye.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.